Okay, so the final stage is going to be double piping, self double piping, self fabric. So what I'm going to do is I've got the front piece cut. I'm going to show you how to, or in other videos I've shown you how to do this, but we might as well do it again on this particular fabric because every fabric is different as it sews up, and that's my experience. So in previous videos I've shown you that you don't want to stop right at the edge on this. You need your double welt foot, by the way. It's in place. You lift the foot up. I start a little bit. This double piping, it's 5/32 double piping, and it's paper. The cloth is a little bit better, but I have a hard time getting the cloth sometimes. So the paper it undoes at the end. See. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a little bit in on the double piping, and we're going to start away from the edge. That's very important. Ready. So I usually plant my needle. I extended the double welting a little bit further because it has a tendency to undo itself. And I'm going to start in on the fabric, see? I'm going to trim this later. Don't go to the edge. You'll never do it right. It'll always undo at some point, and then it looks terrible. So it's always better you assure yourself if you go away from the edge, you assure yourself, and then trim it, you assure yourself that you've got it stitched. I'm a little close there that you want to be, but let's see how that goes. Excuse me. Take this out, and then trim this up. And then this is like a double fold over. And then you sew this. And then we're going to sew all our pieces. This is our front piece. After this, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the chair and apply this onto the front of the chair. Got the other pieces already done, and then we'll be done with the job. And we've trimmed the salvage off to the back of the double piping as close as we can to the stitch without undoing any of the stitches. And you see how you've got a little bit of a flange left. That flange has to go down. Okay, and another thing that I like to do, another little tip, is that I like to fold this, we'll undo some of this at the end. Okay, we want just fabric, about 1 inch maybe, or 3/4 of an inch of just fabric on the end. Cut the piping out, okay? And then what we want to do is make sure that this looks good from the front, okay? So that looks okay. And then I'm going to staple this under like this. This is just a good start point. I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, I'm just going to... See, I just think it's better to start on a staple with the just to get us going. We can't do it on the end here, but I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay, so I've got my glue gun plugged in. I have a lot of respect for that hot glue that comes out of there. It can burn. We've shown that in other videos that you want to be very careful with your fingers. You need a regulator at handy, or a pin, okay, just to kind of fold back some of that stuff. Okay. So, and you also need a hammer just to make small adjustments like I'm doing here. Okay, so what you want to do is start off a little bit, probably about 1 inch or 2 inches. Okay, and then really get this started. Okay, so you want to go about 2 or 3 inches in front, no more than that. And then sometimes I like to take my hammer and just hammer it and tap it down. It kind of assures that the glue bonds. And then you take your regulator. I don't know if you saw there was a little pucker in there that just went away when I took my regulator in between. And at the same time, if you want, you can be poking these threads back. Okay, and this way. Maybe I'm going about 4 inches there, so it depends on your skill level too. Some people only want to do about 1 inch at a time. That's fine. Keep in mind you only have a couple of seconds before this glue dries, so You do want to get your fabric down. This kind of puts the pressure on you a little bit, but get good at that as you go along. Just cleaning this up too as I go along. So I'm almost done with this project, so we can call the client, have her come in and pick it up. Should be happy with it. This seat actually is designed to look like a French balloon seat. I don't know, probably a lot of people haven't heard about that. The very few pieces of furniture that I've seen that had it. What it is usually a very small French side chair with a big seat, it's called a balloon seat, and it's usually done with springs. I think this chair was fashioned after that. And what was on there was big like this too. So it's all about the seat on these, and everything else is minimum. And those were but the original French balloon chairs were much smaller overall, except for the seat. And the seat, where you should see the seats had the number 5 springs, which are the biggest springs you can get. And they were very soft springs. The French had a particular way that they tied those springs. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to have to take another staple in here at the end. Let's see, right in here. Actually, we're going to take our regulator. We're going to finish this off a little bit here. Let's see. Take our regulator and get a staple right in there towards the end. And I took a little bit of the double piping out and then left a little bit of a flange on the fabric. A little dab of glue. Be careful when you do this because it's hot. I'm going to fold these over, and then I'm going to get a little bit more glue here. You can see, I know my fingers aren't the prettiest fingers in the world, but I gave up my hand modeling career years ago for the upholstery career, so forgive me for the ugly fingers. But we can't do anything about that. I'm glad I have all 10. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to put a little glue in there, and then just going to tuck this in. One thread left I don't like. See if we can tuck that in so we can. And we'll see how I get rid of those puckers when I run my regulator inside. There we go, all done. So we're ready to call the customer on this project. Done. And sometimes these small projects take a little bit longer, and I found that on this one. This one took a little bit longer than I estimated. As we go along, for you professional upholsterers or hobbyists who are trying to move in to be professionals, meaning you're going to get paid for your work, as we go along, maybe we'll talk more about how to price things out and how long projects realistically take and all that, and also other costs associated with that. And be sure to subscribe because we've really exciting things coming up, including a very next project, but in the future we've got some really live classes and better equipment that we're introducing, and I hope you all subscribe. Just press that button. Thanks.